Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. Is It Legal focuses on the legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices in Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
Tom, last week we were speaking about a problem that we're having with a number of long-term care facilities telling people that they will do that Medicaid application form for free, and the client somehow believing that that is in their interest.
Well, you're right, and then if you back that up and the nursing homes helped you spend $100,000 of that family's money, that application isn't free. It just cost you $100,000. And
that's all around this urban myth that you know, if you haven't done something before the person's in the nursing home, there's nothing you can do. When in fact, 95% of the asset transfer strategies we engage in, we do not engage in until after. Emphasis after the person is in the nursing home.
And that's a good point because, number one, a majority of the care out there is privately financed. So the last thing you want to be doing is divesting yourself of money and putting yourself at greater risk. But once you're in the nursing home and that is the problem, then we can take some action.
And what we're talking about here is the government, for all practical purposes, is not going to pay for in-home services, never pays for cottages, apartments, or assisted living, except in a very narrow circumstance in Maryland, which essentially just does not work. Right. And so when you put that all in there, for all practical purposes, if you need any of those services short of a nursing home, you had better have resources.
Exactly. And so part of the challenge is knowing when to have resources and when not to have resources, and then doing the proper things in the planning to protect yourself so you always have good care options.
And that's what we always are concerned about. We want that parent to be comfortable and secure first. Then we worry about asset protection strategies. Comfort and secure first means we need them to be in a place that they don't need money. Well, in that case, the nursing home is the only place where there is funding available to pay for their care. So our approach is, until you're in a nursing home, in most cases, more than 95% of the time, there's not going to be any asset transfers until you're actually in the long-term care facility.
Well, exactly. And in a married couple situation, it's almost 100% because there's no need to be doing big gifts to kids and things of that sort. It just
putting the kids' names on the house, all that stuff they all do, actually fouls up eligibility when a house for a married couple is automatically protected anyway.
Well, exactly. And so you take something that's nice and protected for the healthy spouse and you just create penalties and problems and ineligibility.
And yet, you know, you hear this stuff all the time that people somehow think that there's some silver bullet to this stuff that's going to solve the problem, or the nursing home doing it for free is somehow a bargain. Well, the nursing home is economically incented to not have you qualify for medical assistance. So to think that they're going to be acting in your best interest is just simply not protecting yourself appropriately.
Well, exactly. And I think we both agree there's some wonderful folks working for nursing homes, but their job is to get that monthly bill paid. They don't care how they do it, and it's not to protect a big pile of money for that wife or husband at home or whoever.
And we tell people every day you always have options, and these options are dramatically better than what you're being told. And I oftentimes have people say to me, well, I've never heard of any of this stuff, and I use an example, that old sitcom Get Smart. You know, they had the cone of silence. Well, there is a cone of silence right here. You know, nursing homes understand that these options exist. Discharge planners know these options exist. Government agencies know these options exist. And yet they sit there stone-cold silence as families are asking for help.
Right, and you will see that across the spectrum. And they know there's this body of rules that protect people, but yet they're not introducing their folks to them.
And so we caution people is even if you've totally fouled this thing up, you did a Medicaid application, the government has come back and imposed a penalty against you saying you're ineligible for benefits for 12 months. People roll over and say, well, I guess there's nothing we can do for 12 months. And the answer, of course there's things that you can do. It's always the beginning point of the conversation. It is not the end point.
Right, and if you've been denied or if you've been eligible, we can fix it. And so you should, or else it's going to cost you a lot of money unnecessarily.
And so, you know, I listen to people come in and they have these anecdotal stories saying, well, my neighbor did this and they lost everything and they told me it was the only way to do it, so I'm sitting here prepared to lose it all. And I said, your neighbor didn't retain qualified elder law counsel, because if they had, they wouldn't be telling you that story and you wouldn't be sitting here thinking it's the only option that you have.
You're right, and that's the common denominator. Not getting good counsel leads to a bad result.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on our program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Safe Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to the special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. My guest today is Pat Wishard, who is the Public Relations Librarian for the Washington County Free Library. Welcome to the show, Pat.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, you know, you had a building that was considered state-of-the-art in the 1960s. That building has been totally reconstructed.
It has been. It was a joy, hard work, and fun to do, but it really was state-of-the-art in 1964 when it was built. We reached a point where we couldn't plug in one more thing without blowing a fuse. So we really had to do something, and a lot of people came together and helped us get that building up and running.
That's called the Washington County Free Library. Does that mean free?
Well, as long as you return your books on time, yes. We have all sorts of books that you can borrow, programs that you can attend. Everything is free to the user.
Now that's really one of the important things that you've started to illuminate on right now. You know, 1964, that was principally about books and maybe some record albums, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah, and I believe they had some artwork that they loaned out at that point in time, but not a lot of things.
All right, so let's talk about it. It's not only books, although there's a lot of books in there.
Yes, there truly is a lot of books, but libraries in the last decade have really changed a lot. Many libraries now have e-books available. You can download them from our website onto whatever e-device you happen to own.
A tablet or whatever.
A Kindle,
right?
a tablet, your laptop. I think they can even go on your iPod, and we have a brochure that will tell you how to do that.
Okay, and then of course you have music.
We loan out music. We have all sorts of music, everything from classical to some hard rock, a wonderful selection of music. Movies, DVDs, there are numbers and limits, and they're divided by age group wherever you find them in the library. We have computer classes that you can come in and learn how to use the computer.
Now, how many computers do you have available?
Well, we have 40 out in the general computer lab, but we also have a lab itself that contains 12 computers that we host classes and programs. Kids come in and do their science, their STEM, Minecraft play on those computers. So we do have that available as well.
All right, now if somebody decides they need to come in and use the library computer, do they need to know how to turn it on?
No, we'll help you do that. And you don't even really need a library card to do that. We do have a guest pass for that. It's easier if you have a library card. But you can get on. We'll get you started. We'll show you everything you need to do, so we can start you, or you can come in and use it at your pleasure.
You know, and I know one of the great reluctances of people dealing with other types of service organizations is being unwilling to ask for help. But actually, that's the personal passion of librarians.
You know, that's what we do. We answer questions, over 1 million questions last year alone. And we want to help you find the information you're looking for. You know, everything, as they say, is available on the internet, but you probably know as well as the rest of us, everything on the internet is not quite accurate. So we help you find the right solutions and the right answers to your questions.
You know, one of the great passions we see in our society today is, studying our genealogy and so forth. And I know you have a great deal of services available, and at the main branch, you can get some of those services for free.
Well, yes, you can. A lot of our genealogy reference material is found in the absolutely gorgeous Western Maryland room, John Clinton Fry Western Maryland room. We have church records, we have cemetery records, we have high school yearbooks. You can come in and take a look at your high school teacher when he was 18 years old. So there's all sorts of wonderful things there, and we do have help there. If you're struggling to find the information, we have help there who can lead you in the right direction. They won't do the research for you, but they can lead you to help find what you need.
Well, let's have Director Greg pull up a few pictures here. So we have, first of all, while it sits on the original street corner and some of the original structure is still there, it's gotten a heck of a lot bigger.
Yes, it has. It doubled in size. It went from 40,000 square feet to a little over 80, around 82,000. And it's actually going from 1 service floor to 2 service floors. The main floor is what I call the fun. It's where the kids, children's department is, where the fiction, the movies, the music, all of that.
And the back entrance under the old building was not
gorgeous?
Very welcome.
Yeah,
But this is the back entrance, which looks as good as the front.
Yeah, it really does. And of course, that leads into our parking lot. So that we do have parking back to the back of that. That's our children's department, part of it. We have some wonderful rooms in there, a story time room, a toddler room that they can go in and play with things on the wall, for the tactile skills.
Where it's actually okay to make noise.
It is, yes. Yeah, very few of us run around going shush, shush, shush anymore. It's not really, we have quiet rooms, but the building itself is not necessarily quiet. That's our young adult. We have a teen area, and that was one of our goals when we built the new library, to get a special place where teens can go and feel comfortable and meet with their friends and do their research. And we have some wonderful teen programs that our teen associate librarian takes care of.
And of course, public rooms where you can have music. And
we do. We have a wonderful community room upstairs. It will hold just short of 200 people. And speaking of music, we have our Noteworthy Sunday series in there that runs all during the school year. Most of them this year are scheduled the 3rd Sunday of the month with a couple exceptions, but that information is available on our website. That room has been used by many, many organizations in town. They hold workshops there, they hold meetings, the city uses it for some meetings. We have author events in there, so it's really well used. And then on the other side of the building, we have a conference room that for workshops, and that will hold, I think, around 50. So companies use that to come in and do training.
Pat, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on the program.
So thank you very much. It's always fun to be here.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquillity at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquillity, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquillity at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Dad, there's the big one. There's the big one.
Just wait.
There's the monster.
Just one more bid on hurleyauctions.com.
I got it! I got it! I got it!
If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Bridget Keefe, Community Director, Tranquillity of Fredericktown. Welcome to the show, Bridget.
Thank you, Mike.
You know, we talk a lot about assisted living communities, and the reason for that is just a complete misconception that it is an institution or a facility. It is a community. What the heck do we mean by that?
What we mean is that, just like the word implies, you live there, you can be as independent as you want to be. We just provide you with the care that you need to really help you do this.
You know, the other week I was in an apartment with a client who was having 12 hours a day, having somebody in the home. You know, there was no relationship whatsoever with those care providers. She actually told me she'd had 10 different care providers within a 30-day period, and she's paying twice as much as an assisted living facility, and she still has to figure out, what am I going to do the other 12 hours when I don't have somebody there and I might need help?
Right, and we provide 24-hour care. It's a consistent group of caregivers. Our residents know who they're getting to help them, and really, I bet you that person you visited isn't getting out of her apartment much.
She's not getting out of her apartment at all, but even more critically, you know, when that care provider's 10 minutes late getting there, she's wondering, what's going to happen to me today? Am I going to be okay?
Right, or am I going to get my medicine on time? What's going on? And we take all of that worry out of the equation. We have 24-hour nursing and care. We do 24-hour med management, 3 meals a day. All of that's provided. Plus, our residents are out of their apartments all day enjoying life.
You know, in that case there, going back to that, she had a wound that was acting up a little bit. You know, she had to get on the phone, try to call people, you know, late in the day. You know, it's not really, was not a very handy environment. Yet you are fully medically supervised all the time. Probably would not have gotten to the crisis that it got to. In the meantime, even if it did, there would have been somebody right there.
That's correct. We do have a whole array of medical services. Our medical director is a geriatric physician, and you mentioned wounds. We have a wound care practice that does rounds in our building once a week because elderlies, the skin's really delicate, and something like a small cut can go into a wound very easily.
All right, so we're going to have Director Greg pull up some pictures here as we're talking about this. Right out of the gate, you know, this looks like a hotel.
I think it does too, and it really kind of functions like a hotel because we get 3 meals a day. You get your laundry, linen, and housekeeping done.
More importantly, there's a big parking lot to the right, so your car can be parked there.
That's right. You can have a car and you can drive. It is not a prison. You can come and go as you want to, and you just get help.
And of course, we all like manicures.
Well, most of us, yeah, we do. Yeah, and we have a beauty salon too, so no one ever has to not look well groomed.
All right, so and what we talk about is as comfortable as your life circumstance will permit. So if you become somewhat mobility challenged and so forth, we're bringing the activities to you.
Right, that's a good point. You don't, this is kind of like one-stop shopping. We bring the activities to you, and whether you are walking on your own or in a wheelchair.
And bringing the activities to you includes physical therapy, as we can see here.
It does. We have physical, occupational, and speech therapy on site.
And yet you're not institutionalized.
We are not.
You know, the doors are open. You can come and go. You have selections at meals, and you have plenty of people to talk with and to engage with activities with.
No one ever has to feel lonely. There's plenty of people around, yes.
And part of what I was wanting to drive home was that that person that we were talking about, that my client was paying twice as much as an assisted living bill for 12 hours a day with absolutely nothing going on, and as a result of which, you know, no quality of life, lots of expense, and frankly, still at risk for 12 hours a day.
Right, that's 50% of the time your client is at risk for falls or medication mismanagement, all of that, yeah.
All right, so if a person wanted to learn more about Tranquillity of Fredericktown, do they have to make an appointment or can they just come in and visit?
We welcome the pop-in, as it's called, because we're the same if you make an appointment or pop-in, yeah.
And how can they find out more about you? What's the phone number?
The phone number is 301-668-6030.
All right, and so that's in Fredericktown,
It
next
is.
to the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Next to it, but that's it. Not connected to it, yep.
Bridget, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on our
Thank
program.
you, Mike.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
People don't realize it takes a lot to care for a family member in your home. John's dad was very headstrong, so I think that was a lot for him to get over and try to come to terms with that he had terminal illness. I would recommend everybody to get hospice involved at the get-go. When you first learn about it, get it set up. It's going to make it, I mean, it's terrible what you're going through already, but it's going to make it easier for you in the long run because we couldn't have done it without them.
Call Hospice today. Hospice of Washington County, when time matters most.
I have wanted to be a teacher ever since first grade. Without the Mary and Ruth Smith Scholarship, I would not be successful as a growing adult.
Do you wish to make a difference in the lives of others? You can, and you don't have to be wealthy to impact future generations. Start your legacy at the Community Foundation and impact lives, just as Mary and Ruth Smith have done.
Thank you to the Community Foundation for believing in me and providing me the opportunity to become successful with my goals.
Albright, Crumbacker, Mal and Idell are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. Making Sense focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Pete Alexander, a partner in the regional accounting firm of Albright, Crumbacker, Mao, and Idell with offices in Hagerstown and Martinsburg. Welcome to the show, Pete.
Great to be here, Mike.
Pete, when I talk to my older clients about capital gains, you know, I just see eyes glaze over. I see that they're thinking this is a penalty tax for having made money.
Yeah, capital gains is one of the more confusing taxes to begin with, because we have now various rates on capital gains depending on what your income is. We have people out there that hear that capital gains are subject to Obamacare tax. They hear capital gains may affect their Social Security. They may not get their Social Security if they get capital gains. And
well, let's talk about what capital gains means. Let's just do a very simple example. I bought a stock 10 years ago. I paid $10,000 for it. That stock is now worth $20,000. What happens when I sell that stock?
Yeah, when you sell that stock, you paid 10, you sold it for 20, you have a $10,000 gain. That is a capital gain. Now, the first good news about capital gains is capital gains are not subject to self-employment tax. They're not subject to Social Security tax. The second good thing about capital gains is they aren't deemed earned income in any way, so they don't affect you receiving Social Security. Let's say that you're between age 62 and 67 and you're receiving Social Security and you know you have this fear that if you make too much money, they're going to come and take some of it back. Capital gains doesn't count against that either. It's not earned income. It doesn't count against you receiving Social Security. So you have capital gains from selling something that you've held, and if it's long-term, then you get a whole benefit of different rates.
Now, I specifically used 10 years to be unambiguous that it was capital gains. What is the basic holding period in order to get capital gains?
Well, to get long-term, there is such a thing. Capital gains is anything you buy that you don't do anything to and then that you sell through natural time. But if you hold it for 1 year, and there's presidential candidates running out there that are even looking to make it 3 years and 5 years and different things. But right now, if you hold it for 1 year, it's deemed long-term capital gain. And once you hit long-term capital gain qualification, you then get special tax treatment.
Now, it's special. People think special means additional tax. Capital gains is not an additional tax. It's a replacement tax.
Yeah, I guess it would be better for people to quit using the word that it gets special tax treatment and start saying it gets beneficial tax treatment. Capital gains can only help versus having it be ordinary income. It would never be better to have $10,000 ordinary income over $10,000 capital gain.
Now, doing a grotesque example, oversimplifying, in the example we used where you had $10,000 in ordinary income, you might, and that gain on $10,000 might be $4,000 tax or $4,400 tax, but as a capital gains rate, it's likely, if you're in the full capital gains rate, it might be $1,600 versus $4,000.
Yeah, the ordinary rates are much higher. We have ordinary rates up to 39.6, and then we have the Obamacare tax at 3.8. So we have ordinary rates up as high as 44% federal. On individuals, their top capital gain rate is 20%, and then they could also get hit with 3.8% Obamacare surtax on the capital gain. But that's the max. So every time your capital gain bracket will always be lower than your ordinary tax bracket for normal capital gain assets.
And we say replacement tax, going to that $20,000 that you sold it for, you paid $10,000 for it, the tax is either going to be at the ordinary income tax rate or the capital gains rate. They're not piled on top of each other. So when you get the replacement tax, it's a lower tax.
Yes, and as I said, we're going to start using the term, it's a beneficial tax, because what happens is the income tax on capital gains doesn't exist. As you said, it's replaced with a capital gains tax instead of an income tax, and in every case your capital gain tax will be a lower rate. If you're in a 15% federal bracket, your capital gain bracket is zero.
Zero.
So if you have 10,000 capital gain, if it would have been ordinary and you would have paid 1,500 because you're in a 15% bracket, for capital gains it's going to be zero. If you go up into a higher tax bracket, if you go up into the 28%, if you go in the very top tax bracket, the 39.6 bracket, then you're only going to pay 20%. So under either scenario, the capital gain is going to be at a lower rate.
And then oftentimes we have people of modest means that have, stock holdings that are in fact only $20,000. They don't want to sell it because they don't want to pay taxes, and in fact would not pay any taxes.
Yeah, quite often the taxes will be zero because we have this unique thing. We haven't had it forever, but it is locked into the law now that we have the 0% on capital gains if you're in one of the lower tax brackets.
Pete, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on our program.
Great to be here, Mike.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just as simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.